I'd like to call to order the City of Fraser Zoning Board of Appeals for Thursday, August 6th at 7 p.m. Would you all stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Member Menendez, roll call, please.
Okay, I'm going to call out the names. Member Burley?
Here.
Member Chimenti? Member Green?
Present.
Member Farina?
Here.
Member Menendez, present. Member Stasek is absent, and that is an excused absence. And
She
Member
just had-
Wall?
She had a baby yesterday.
Here.
And Member Wall.
Here.
Okay. On the agenda, I'd like to add, well, I'll handle it under Commissioner comments. Approval of the agenda for today. Are there any changes to the agenda that anybody wants to make? I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Chair, who was the second?
Scott.
Wall. Thank you.
Approval of minutes for May 7th.
I'd like to approve the minutes as submitted.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Approved. Okay, statement by the chair. Members of petitioners and members of the audience. The Zoning Board of Appeals is herein created as a body of limited powers. Where there are practical difficulty or necessary hardships in the way of carrying out the strict letter of the Fraser Code, the board shall have powers in passing upon appeals to vary or modify any of the provisions of the code relating to the Constitution, structural changes in the equipment or alterations of building or structures so that the spirit of the code shall be observed, public safety secured, and substantial justice done. No variance in the no variance in the provisions or requirements of the code shall be authorized by the board unless the board finds evidence that all three of the following facts and conditions exist. A, there are exceptional or extraordinary circumstances or conditions applying to the property in question as to the intended use of the property that do not generally apply to other properties in the same zoning district. That such variance is necessary for the preservation of and enjoyment of a substantial property rights similar to those possessed by others. Properties in the same district and the same vicinity. The increased financial return shall not of itself be deemed sufficient to warrant a variance. That the authorizing of such a variance shall not be of a substantial to adjacent properties and will not materially impair their intent and the purpose of the Fraser Code or the public interest. And D, that the condition or situation of the specific piece of property or intended use of the property for which the variance is sought is not of so general or recurrent a nature that it makes reasonably practicable the formulation of a general regulation for such condition or situation. We're under old business. This is ZBA 26-01, 34860 Utica Road, Birdies and Brew. Would the applicant like to come up? Yes. Okay. Mr. Planner, you want to lead us through this?
Sure. Thank you, Chair Farina, members of the Zoning Board of Appeals. So tonight, we are here to hear a postponed case for ZBA 2601, 34862 Utica Road, Birdies and Brews, to obtain a variance from Section 3293 subsections 3B, to provide 23 parking spaces when 34 parking spaces are required. And 2, to obtain a variance from section 32-154 subsection B1 to waive the requirement that indoor commercial recreation uses are not permitted within the building or on the site within 100 feet of a residential district. As members may recall, a public hearing was previously held by the Zoning Board of Appeals on March 5th and again, May 7th, 2026, to consider this zoning request, variance request. At such time, a decision was made to postpone the vote for both variance requests until a full board was present and for the applicant to be given an opportunity to investigate a shared parking agreement with adjacent property owners and provide parking agreement paperwork to the city attorney for proper review. That did occur. The city attorney reviewed the proposed agreement and determined that what was submitted was a private lease arrangement and was insufficient, and what was needed was a shared parking agreement that could be recorded as a perpetual easement. The applicant has since amended their variance request and is no longer seeking a shared parking agreement. So a new public hearing was noticed for the amended request, which is what members are being asked to consider tonight. As a reminder to members, the subject property is on a approximately 0.5 acre lot located 34860 Utica Road, south of 15 Mile Road on the east side of Utica Road in the CG Commercial General Zoning District. The applicant is proposing an indoor golf simulator and mini golf course with a bar in an approximately 10,675 square foot existing building. The applicant has provided renderings previously shown here that illustrate a partial proposed indoor layout. Primarily at issue is an underage of required parking spaces for the proposed indoor recreational use, which requires 1 parking space per 3 persons allowed at maximum occupancy. Since the initial facade plans where the applicant noted that the applicant maximum occupancy would be 252 people, the applicant has subsequently requested to reduce the maximum occupancy further, first to 198 ahead of the March ZBA meeting, to 156 ahead of the May ZBA meeting, and reduce further to 100 with their most recent variance request. Reducing the maximum occupancy is a process that can be done administratively through the building official and fire marshal. The applicant is aware of this process, which includes providing rationale for the request to minimize the maximum occupancy, as well as provided detailed drawings that the calculations are based on. The city's building officials have previously recommended approval of the reduced occupancy load as long as the approved life safety egress plan is followed, and the occupancy numbers for each building section are updated to reflect the requested reduced maximum occupancy load. With the reduced occupancy to 100, the total number of required parking spaces is 34. So the requested variance for deficient parking spaces is now 11 spaces. The city planner, myself, I visited this location on several occasions to inspect site conditions. The photos shown here are the conditions that were observed. I have also included a chart that highlights the minimum parking requirements for permitted uses in the commercial general zoning district to illustrate comparable parking constraints for alternative uses at this site for consideration. So, and included this evening, I brought each of the members, maybe member Wall, you didn't receive it, there should be an extra one down here. The actual paper of this section of the zoning ordinance that describes the minimum parking spaces required. And these are also include the permitted uses in the commercial general district. So I pulled out a couple, and it wasn't really cherry picking, but I really did try to think about this thoughtfully to give members an example of how this space, if it were proposed to be used for one of these permitted uses in the commercial general district, how those uses may also find similar challenges to the one that this applicant is currently requesting. So we established that the building footprint is 10,675 square feet. I verified that with a recorded deed with Macomb County Parcel Viewer. That was included on one of the slides. So a child care center requires one parking space per 400 square foot. So it would require 27 spaces. An example, a grocery store is one per 300 square feet. And as you can see, many of these uses are similar to these with the 300 that would require 36 spaces. Same for office, whether it was office or medical office would require 36 spaces. Personal service establishment, which is pretty broad and catch-all, also requires 36 spaces. Retail establishment, small, also requires 36 spaces. So I think that demonstrates that any person who's going to come in here with a proposal for this site is likely going to need to come before this board requesting a similar request. Finally, should the requested variances be approved by the Zoning Board of Appeals tonight, the applicant will still need to obtain special land use approval from Planning Commission for the use of an amusement and recreational service, which is subject to the standards of the zoning ordinance as well. I want to go through and read the applicant's response and the planning review to those items that Chair Farina outlined at the start of the meeting. So in reviewing against the ordinance standards, that A, there are exceptional or extraordinary circumstances or conditions applying to the property in question or as to the intended use of the property that do not apply generally to other properties in the same zoning district. The applicant notes the irregular shape parcel constraints with lot width and depth, as well as building placement limiting the ability for additional parking. From planning, regarding the parking space variance of residential buffering, we note that the lot is constrained. The building was originally used for industrial warehousing. Currently, the zoning of the property, as I stated earlier, is commercial general, not industrial. So it is likely most commercial uses would require a variance for parking. We believe the former industrial nature of the property does present a unique circumstance. To B, that such variance is necessary for the preservation and enjoyment of a substantial property right like that possessed by other properties in the same vicinity, the possibility of increased financial return shall not of itself be deemed enough to warrant a variance. Here, the applicant responded that amusement and recreation uses are permitted in commercial general. However, the property cannot be utilized for this purpose while meeting the parking requirements due to the current site constraints and configuration of the building. They went on further to say that the request is not based upon the prospect of increased financial return. Rather, it is necessary to allow reasonable use of the property consistent with its zoning classification, given the inherent physical constraints of the land and the way the city has naturally developed in this area. We agree with the assessment provided by the applicant regarding the parking variance. Regarding the residential buffering variance, we believe that is necessary for preservation of a substantial property right, as other indoor recreations nearby are also adjacent to residential districts. C, that the authorizing of such variance will not be of substantial detriment to adjacent property and will not materially impair the intent and purpose of this chapter or the public interest. The applicant states that granting the parking variance will not be of substantial detriment to the adjacent property, nor impair the intent of the ordinance or public interest. They note that the property is along Utica Road, a major commercial corridor, near 15 Mile Road, another major corridor. Additionally, the applicant notes that in practice, recreational uses such as indoor golf simulators and mini golf do not typically operate at maximum occupancy for sustained periods, and patrons often arrive in groups, reducing vehicle counts relative to head count. Further, applicant's use will be operated based on scheduled, staggered tee times and will likely be based on a membership basis so that the applicant is able to further regulate and influence customer parking. The applicant intends to keep the existing block wall on the exterior eastern boundary of the property that abuts the residential property. Such block walls and site configuration will serve as an added buffer of sight and sound to the residential. We agree that the proposed variance does not impair the intent of the ordinance, as this is a use that is appropriate in the commercial general district. However, we do have concerns that the lack of parking may negatively impact neighboring properties or create unsafe conditions. We do believe that these can, however, be mitigated with proper scheduling and signage to direct traffic. Regarding the buffering from residential districts, we do not believe that granting this variance will negatively impact adjacent properties, as there is already an indoor amusement recreation use abutting the same residential parcel, and the proposed use will be conducted entirely indoors. And finally, for D, that the conditions or situations of the specific piece of property or the intended use of the property for which the variance is sought is not of so general or recurrent in nature as to create a general rule for such a condition or situation. Here, the applicant believes that the parking variance is not a general condition, as the property has an irregular and constrained layout, and the occupancy is what is driving the parking requirement. We find that regarding the parking variance, we agree that it's not a typical commercial general parcel due to its former industrial use. Therefore, we do not believe it would create a general rule. Regarding the residential buffering, many commercial general parcels do abut residential parcels, so it could create a general rule. However, we do not believe that upholding this requirement is necessary to uphold the intent of the district and protect the public safety and welfare of adjacent residential properties, as these uses will be fully contained indoors. So in conclusion, we do not believe that granting the variance would negatively impact the health, safety, welfare, or value of neighboring properties or the community in general. We also find that the standard for granting a variance are met or can be met. Therefore, we are recommending approval for the variance from section 32-93, 3B, to provide 23 parking spaces when 34 spaces are required, conditioned upon the following requirements. Excuse me. The maximum occupancy of the building is administratively reduced to 100 people by the building official. The applicant must provide signage to ensure adequate vehicular circulation to the satisfaction of the city engineer. We also recommend approval of the variance from section 32-154, subsection B1, to waive the requirement that indoor commercial recreation uses are not permitted within the building or on the site within 100 feet of a residential district. Additional information brought forward by the board, the applicant, and/or public comment should be incorporated into the record prior to the board making any determination. The applicant is here to answer any questions, as am I and the city attorney.
Any questions for the planner? I saw that my question, I didn't get a chance to look through this before you just gave it out. This is going to have a bar and an entertainment side, right, correct? Yes. Okay. How big is the bar?
How many feet long is it? Is that what you're asking?
What's the capacity?
Seats at the bar, roughly 12 to 15 max.
Okay. All right. What does it call for in your standard for the bar?
So my understanding is, both from the previous planner's review and from the current review, that this is being reviewed as indoor recreational use based on the maximum occupancy. So that is how the parking was being calculated. If the bar is incidental to that, like if per number of seats at the bar constituted or was calculated as part of the occupancy total, that is how that was considered.
Okay. Any other questions?
I didn't think so. On here, it says brewery, 1 per 2 seats.
Is it?
Yes. So I think plus 1 per employee. So I don't know if that would,
I think he already told us the maximum of 4 employees,
Yes.
so that would be 1 1 per 3 seats, so that'd be 5 spots, 4 employees, that's 9.
10, yep.
And for the, what's the closest to the recreation part of it? What's the closest comparison to the recreation part of it?
Like a device, the previous ordinance called it, the, sorry, I'd not pulled up the old reference for the old ordinance, but it was indoor recreation, like device, amusement device, I believe was the actual language.
Okay. And how many spots would that be?
That was 1 per 3 people based on maximum occupancy. That's how we are calculating this, is based on that.
Okay, so that would be 11 spots there. Is that right? 1 per 3, he says 100 people, that would be 3 spots?
So, I'm sorry, I'll pull back up this sheet for us right here. So,
Thank you.
right here is where it describes
34.
and gives you that amusement device centers. I'm sorry, I can't quite read that myself. But it's 1 space per 3 persons allowed at maximum occupancy as determined by the fire marshal or his official delegate. So 100 divided by 3, we get that fractional just over 33, so we round up to 34 spaces being required.
Thank you. Okay, do you guys have anything you want to add?
I just want to correct one thing in the record is that the site plan has 24 spaces, not 23, so the variance is for 10 instead of 11. You guys went through all the factors. I don't want to, just go through all of those again. We did a support letter of July 8th, very detailed in our support. I think everyone knows this is an exceptional circumstance here with the shape of the building, the former industrial zoning classification. And without a variance here, I think this building is basically obsolete as zoned commercial general right now. So this is, Jonathan's a city resident. He wants to invest in the city. And without the variance, I don't know what the use of this building becomes. So that's all I got. Unless you have anything to add.
Through the chair, I did see where the applicant, in their letter, state that there's 24 spaces, but I'm looking at the site plan, and I'm still counting 23 spaces. I believe there was previous discussion at other meetings where the space that is where there is now a dumpster enclosure was being included as the 24th space. So I believe, I'm looking at the blown-up site plan that's in your packet as well. So I'm showing that we have 11 in the front yard along Utica Road, along the north property line, 4 directly in front of the building, including 1 van-accessible barrier-free space, and then on the east side of the building, in the rear yard of the building, 8 spaces with the dumpster enclosure at that northeast corner. So that's how I determined that it is, in fact, 23 spaces that are being provided.
Are you
So
happy
the
with that?
11.
There's a note there that says for a wheeled dumpster. That's where we gained the 1 more space.
You have to have an enclosure on.
It can still be an enclosure on that side because there is the electrical box in that corner.
Member Menendez.
Is this set up like Topgolf to where you're using the simulator, you can sit around, you could eat, you could drink while you,
We won't have food.
okay,
We're not-
just liquor, but they will be able to sit around and drink?
Yes, well.
Or have a I guess my concern
Yes.
is, as we did when we went there, because you're limited in time. So we do our thing, then we get kicked out of that spot. You still may have a cocktail in our case, you still have food. We don't bail. We go off to some other area, sit down, finish whatever we have to do, and go. And in our case, we had 4 people, but we still had 3 vehicles. So you can't always control, really, I mean, you would think that many would come up, but you can't control, and at the end of the day, we only have 11 spots. I mean, that's all you have if everything is perfect. 11 spots, and then where are they going? And you put a sign and you have a directional sign, where are you going to direct them to? You don't have shared parking, so how do you even direct them anyplace? They only can come in off of Utica. What I've seen historically is that, as with Hockeyland, people take the path of least resistance. And even with Hockeyland, where they had extra spaces in the northeast area, everybody still went and parked where the plaza is, behind the plaza, in front of the plaza. You took up their parking, but did not move around to the rear. They have way more parking, and unfortunately, you only have 11. I have serious concerns of being able to control it, and the fact that you do not have any kind of agreements with your neighbors directly adjacent to it. I mean, I can see the problem of them encroaching on yours, because we've already witnessed that, where parking from the arcade is filtered over into what would be your parkings, and vice versa. In terms of your use variance, I don't have a problem with that. I think it's definitely warranted, given, the building right next to you has that, and I don't see it because everything is contained inside. But my concern, again, is the part, where are you going to put the people? Where are you going to direct them to? And that's my concern.
Just in response really quick, the parking agreement, and that just became so much of an
Cumbersome.
obstacle. And that's why we went this route and reduced the occupancy by a significant amount to 100. He did a business study. It'll function at 100. It'll function at 100 without a problem. So that's why we went this route, and because really the parking agreement almost became an impossibility. So just wanted to explain where we're at with that.
That's what I assumed that's what happened, because the logistics of it is very complicated. So that I understand. But I'm still struggling with how you're going to control when people come in and other people are coming in behind, and your maximum occupancy is 100, and you still have a deficit. Only because what have I've experienced at another facility, clearly, way, way smaller than yours, but the amount of traffic and movement and people hanging afterwards, I mean, it's a parking logistic nightmare, is what it is. And I feel bad for you for that.
I just
because I
think
think your
that nothing
concept
will
is
ever-
great.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I just said, I don't think anything will ever go there without a variance. So the building will sit vacant.
Well, there was something there prior to it. I mean, you could have a use where you don't have hardly any movement in it, where people just
But the
come in and
zoning is
utilize it.
industrial.
I'm sorry.
The former zoning was industrial, now it's commercial. So the prior use can't go back there.
Dan, when did that go to CG? Was the previous business that was in there with the social,
Social resources.
yeah,
Social resources.
that's not industrial.
I did not have the historical record on that, but they are correct, as was stated in my report and in my presentation, that the reason, this was originally or previously zoned industrial.
Right.
And then I went back and reviewed the master plan from 2021, and at that point, I saw a future land use that was calling for residential. So I'm not sure if at some point around that time that there was a use variance given to someone for an use other than
spot?
industrial. I'm not familiar with the social network or what was there previously or what they did in there.
Prior to his purchase, you're referring to.
Yes, which you are asking about. I have not, I'm not prepared. I could certainly provide an additional report if you felt it was warranted.
The
of
point that I was just
how it
making
was
is
made a
that
decision
you
that,
could put another business in there that would fit in the commercial general. It just couldn't have a lot of foot traffic.
The
But
odds are very
that doesn't-
slim.
And that doesn't do you any good now,
Yeah.
because that's not what you're looking to do. So I get that.
Well, and through the chair, Member Menendez, that again, this slide that we have it on right now, and again, bringing to your attention, what is the permitted uses in commercial general? You know, and the previous planner before me made this case that the initial one, and I stand by that decision, is that any of these uses that are permitted in the commercial general are typically going to be based on gross floor area versus maximum occupancy. And all of them are going to need to come before you. Like, if you wanted to put a Dollar General there, for example,
Right.
like, it's going to be based on gross
One
usable.
warehouse there.
If you wanted to put a warehouse there, you'd have to get a use variance from this board again. So if you wanted to revert it back to its previous zoning district, where perhaps you could use a reduced calculation, then they'd still have to come before this board and request a use variance. Now, the master plan does identify this area as commercial general, which is typically high-intensity, automotive-centric uses. You know, the one thing, you know, that I've noticed as a new person in Fraser and someone who's historically seen this community develop, like, I think what has developed along Utica Road is really quite an interesting, like, regional attraction and draw with Total Soccer, with new restaurant uses. I see this being a complementary use to the nearby, like, arcade and some of those things, the restaurants that are nearby. So clustering these things together and creating nodes, which were described quite a bit in the commercial districts in the 2021 master plan, makes some sense in my professional opinion.
Thank you. Okay. You want to go back? We're going to ask for public comments.
Thank you.
Is there anybody in the public who wants to be heard? Come on. Please identify yourself, name and address for the record, please.
Joseph Kaliba, the arcade next door, 34830 Utica Road, free play. Okay, so nothing's changed since the last time. I mean, I just have parking concerns. And everything that I submitted for record on the previous meeting still stands.
Dan, were there any other correspondence?
Yes, Chair Farina, this afternoon, I received an email from the business owner at 34830 Utica Road, Suite 300, which is the same building just to the south of the subject parcel. So that's a mixed-use building. There's several uses in there aside from the arcade. And I'm happy to read that statement for the record, if you'd like to see that included. To whom it may concern, in regard to Appeal ZBA 2601 for Birdies and Brews, requesting variance for parking spaces, my business, Ruffin and Pet Resort, Inc., is located at 34830 Utica Road, Suite 300, which is just south of the Birdies and Brews location. I attended the previous meeting when this was on the agenda and spoke on how we already have limited parking with the other businesses located in our building. I am very concerned as a business owner that if they do not have enough parking spots for their business, that the overflow will affect my business. I have been here for 10 years and have added parking signs outside of my door to help so that my customers have a place to park to bring in or take out their pets from our facility. However, there have been several occasions that my signs are not followed, causing my customers to come in and complain about the parking. If they do not have a place to park, I will lose customers and could ultimately end up having to close if it becomes that much of an issue. I do not understand or agree that I should have to suffer with the possible lack of parking for another business to open. There should have been due diligence done prior to obtaining the same to ensure that whatever requirements were needed, the building would be suited for. I have had great support from the community of Fraser and want to remain here in this city. Please consider my comments as I am speaking from the heart, as this is a family-owned business that we have worked really hard to make successful. Sincerely, Christine Velasco, owner of Roughin' It Pet Resort, Inc. And she gave her contact information.
Just as a matter of record, you're going to have a copy for Augusta, right?
Yes, I have an extra copy that I can give to them.
Having heard that, I'm going to close public hearing and bring it back up to the board. We're getting ready to vote on this. I want to let you know that we have one member, she had a baby. We have tried to get alternate members to volunteer for the board. No one has come forward. So you are going to be required to have 4 of the remaining 6 people up here vote in favor. If you want, you can, at your choice, defer for a full board, but I can't guarantee that. I don't even know if she's coming back from having the baby. So, or when. So the choice is yours, sir.
No, this is the second time now that I've come and there's been short members, so I can't afford to wait any longer.
Okay. All right. All right. Hope- Anybody have a motion? Is there a motion to be had? Well, people, we have to rule on this. I will make a motion. Seeing that no one else will.
Mr. Chair, are you doing 2 motions, one for each one separately, or are you
Well,
doing it?
that would be a good idea. Alex, which one? Which way do you want us to go? 2 motions or 1 motion?
Either way is fine. You can do 2 if you want to address them.
Okay. All right. So, breaking apart. All right. On ZBA 26-01 at 34-860 Utica Road, we're going to break this into 2 then. To obtain a variance from section 32-154B1 to waive the requirement that an indoor commercial recreation uses are not permitted within the building or on the site within 100 feet of the residential district. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Can I have a roll call, please? Since I made the motion, call me last.
Okay, just let me write this. Mr. Bruley is seconding this, okay? Mr. Bruley?
Yes.
Mr. Chimenti? Yes. Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Farina?
Yes.
Menendez, opposed?
Okay.
Stasek, absent?
Right.
Mr. Wall?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. All right.
Correct, Mr. Chair?
All right. Motion. It is. It is.
Sorry.
It is down.
No, he's talking about mine.
All right. DBA 26-01 at 34-860 Utica Road, Birdies and Brew, to obtain a variance from section 3293. Stop. Counselor, at the end of that, I want to conditions that they must meet. Do I have to get a revision to that motion?
You can keep going and say, you could say, for example, to approve the the variance from section 3293, 3B, and then just the way Dan has it here is okay, if you want to just kind of read off that. And then he even has these two sub-bullets down here. One of them is to obtain approval by the building official. I would even go a step further, because I think fire probably has to approve this as well. So I'd say any administrative approval is necessary, something.
I want that, but I want, in the planning commission, the lawyer came up and said, any variance to meet all code and
Yeah, that's fine.
give me the words for it.
Yep, that it be required to comply with all other portions of the, oh my gosh, sorry, you're putting me on the spot, I'm blanking.
Okay.
To meet any other portion of the code, you can say that. Yeah, any necessary approvals administratively, and to comply with all of the zoning code.
Thank you. This is on both motions now, okay?
Oh, I'm sorry, you were asking me if you needed to go back and amend the other motion. You should do that, yes. So do you want to pause on this one and go back to that one first? Okay. So then I would make a motion to amend the previous motion to add that to it.
Okay. I'd like to move to amend the previous motion for a use variance to add the,
To add the language, would you like me to say it? And then
Yes.
just say you take what I'm
Yeah.
saying? To require the approval, any necessary administrative approvals, and to comply with the zoning ordinance, all portions of the zoning ordinance.
okay.
Need a second for the amendment, correct?
Second.
And then now we have to do a roll call.
Roll call.
Okay, here we go again.
No, when I say I'm last, not in the middle.
Okay. Mr. Bruley?
Yes.
Mr. Chimenti?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Menendez opposed? Stasek absent? Mr. Wall?
Yes.
Mr. Farina?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Yes. Okay. Second motion, to obtain a variance on section 3293, subsection 3, to provide 23 parking spaces where 34 parking spaces are required. Okay? Do I have a second for
Wait a
that?
second, didn't we just do that?
No, that was the other
That was
one.
a use variance.
Yes,
Okay.
that was to waive the requirement. He's going backwards.
Do you want to change your vote?
Yeah, I screwed that up.
You could just say you're changing your vote on it, then it passes 6-0 instead of 5-1. That was, the first one that we voted on was the
variance.
The 100-foot
Yes.
distance.
I am in favor of that.
Okay, so that one passes 6-0.
6-0.
Okay,
I apologize.
that's okay.
Okay. All right, now, again, I need a second for the motion that I just went through.
Chair, you stopped before you got to the requiring the,
No, I said, okay,
No,
I'll
you-
do it again. To obtain a variance from section 32-93, subsection 3, to provide 23 parking spaces when 34 parking spaces are required.
and then it says.
With conditions.
Conditioned upon the following requirements. So I would, just to make it similar to the other motion where you required approval, so I would, do you want me to add that?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay. So,
You're the wordsmith.
so you say after I'm done saying this, you say you're adopting that into the motion, but, so, subject to the following requirements, that the maximum occupancy for the business is administratively reduced to 100 people by the building official, and that the applicant must provide signage to ensure adequate vehicular circulation to the satisfaction of the city engineer, and to obtain any other administrative approvals necessary, and to comply with any other provisions in the zoning ordinance.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, can I have a roll call, please?
Did you get a second?
I'll second.
I'm sorry. I wanted to move this along. Okay.
Okay, all right, here we go. Member Burley?
Yes.
Member Chimenti? Yes. Member Green?
Yes.
Member Menendez, opposed. Member Stasek, absent. Member Wall?
Yes.
Member Farina?
Opposed?
Passes
4.
4-2.
2.
2.
Okay, congratulations. Welcome to the community.
Both variances passed.
Okay, item 8, unfinished business of the board. There is none. Monthly report. Dan, you want to go through that?
Thank you, Chair Farina. This body hasn't met in a couple of months, so I did send these out at the end of June to catch people up with the May and June reports, so.
We appreciate that.
Hopefully that was helpful. Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate everyone's patience as I've been transitioning and the guidance that you all have been sharing as well. Not much highlighted for May. The main thing that I would like to share about is the Planning Commission recommended approval of the zoning ordinance update with revisions to City Council at their May 6th meeting. And then in June, City Council heard a first reading of the zoning ordinance update and sent it back. There was quite a bit of public conversation and public discussion about that. So there were some revisions that were requested, and it came back before council at their June 11th meeting for a second reading. At the June 11th for a second reading. In the July meeting, my apologies, and it was approved and adopted. So as of July 31st, the city is operating under the new updated zoning ordinance. So that'll be something for this board to look into. I've received a request from Planning Commission to print out hard copies of that entire ordinance. It's about 190 pages. So it's pretty substantive. We can put them in folders. I'll send it out as a PDF to all of you folks within the next couple days so you have it. And then I'll work on getting them printed and collated for everybody for.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Try to get those delivered.
PDF would be great.
Okay, PDF. Yeah, if there's anyone that doesn't require all the paper, just let me know. Like I said, I'll send out the email with the PDF, and then maybe if you just want to mail me privately that
We
you.
all have a book like this with it in.
I'm sorry.
When you get on the board, you get a book like this with the ordinance in it.
Oh, yeah,
We'd like to replace the ones we have, so.
okay. You're talking about like a binder? You want like a three?
We already have the binder, we just
Okay.
need the pages with holes popped in them, so we
Okay.
can pull the old out and put the new in.
Okay, I was gonna try and get you some new binders too.
Oh, that would be nice.
No,
Thank
wait,
you.
waste your time. Look at that fancy binder.
But we'll get those out to you. So that was the biggest business around the city for recent updates. I do want to give you all a heads up that it was also suggested to me that members like to receive notice when a public hearing is being sent, so you get a little bit more advance notice. I'll even try. I'll begin to do that, so you have at least that 15-day lead time to know for sure in case anything comes up differently. But something that was changed in the zoning ordinance update was a request that when people are submitting application for site plan review or for variance, we're requiring that they submit by the first of the month prior to the meeting that they would like to be heard. So, for example, if someone wanted to be on the September agenda, they would have had to submit their application, completed application, by August 1st. So because of that, what's nice about that is I now know in meeting with you tonight that we have an application to go before the September Zoning Board of Appeals for a sign variance. So you can anticipate that I should be sending that out. So that notice will go out, and then we'll get you the packets with the reviews ahead of time.
And you'll be emailing that to us, correct?
So I always send the email 15 days ahead of time, or 1 week ahead of time with the hard copy sets. This month, I'm going to be out of town the last week, so I'm actually going to try and get all of that taken care of before I leave and get those out to you the week before.
Thank you.
Chair, one real quick question. When you read off your motion there, you said in there to provide 32 parking spaces when 34 parking spaces are required, correct?
No, 20.
23.
23.
I'm sorry, what did I say?
32.
Oh, I'm sorry. Reversed them. You said that as part of the motion, correct?
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
August is going to have fun with this one.
Okay, as part of our meeting last night, the building department brought this in, I wanted to share it with you. This is Sheets layout. I'm just going to show you. The people back here were complaining that when they come up the incline here, the headlights go over what was there into their homes. So Sheets has volunteered to plant 4 to 5 foot arborvitaes. I'm sorry, right here, I just highlighted them here. And this is the detention pond.
Oh, okay, it's on Rosemary Street.
Right. And residential property to be screened, on Rosemary Street. So that was very nice of them to work with those people, and they volunteered to do that. Being good people. Good partners. Okay. Okay, Planning Commission, last night, we had one site plan to review, and that was the old glass house on Utica Road, which is, I mean, we're really getting some complicated ones. There's not enough room to do everything that they need to do in there. It's a non-conforming lot. I'm sorry, I can't go both ways. This is on Utica Road, right where it meets Josephine. Okay, and the other side is the church. So we had battled with that, but, yeah, yes. No, this is where the glass repair shop was.
I think it's where Utica and Garfield kind of come down to a upside down triangular point.
Right, exactly.
It's Alyssa and I were, because Alyssa was at the meeting last night, her and I were talking about it before the meeting, and it was just like, wow, this is a real interesting piece.
They're redoing it. This gentleman has an HVAC business located in the city already, and he wants to break out the residential HVAC part and open up this building as a sales area and a warehouse. HVAC, yeah. So that we worked through that, and that's a go. Next month, I believe we have a housing group home that's looking to expand, I think.
Correct, yeah, it's a group family daycare center, which is permitted by right in the residential district up to 6 students or children. They have to come before Planning Commission for a special land use request.
Where is that located?
I don't have the address off the top of my head, I could find it.
It's on Toulouse.
I could definitely find it for you before we leave this evening.
I'm kidding. Okay. That is my report. Commissioners' comments. Mr. Wall.
No comment.
Okay. Mr. Green.
No comment.
Mr. Burley.
Nothing.
Nothing. Mr. Chimete.
Have we heard anything about the applicant currently in the process of creating a site plan for the planning commission for the condos on 14? Is anything developed on that?
Condos.
Buildings at 14 and Hayes.
Your mic.
Sorry about that. On 14 and Hayes, anything on that?
No. You mean on Hayes? Not.
Hayes or
no,
Utica?
On Hayes.
Yeah, on Hayes on 14 there.
There's no condos down there that I know of.
Was the site, according to here, the planning commission recommends approval of the rezoning request on Hayes near 14 Mile Road to develop a new meeting on May 7th.
No, sir. I do not.
Nothing on that?
No. Dan, do you have anything on that?
Not that I'm aware, but I'll look into that and respond if there's any update.
Okay.
Because don't they have a year for their application?
Yeah, once a applicant has a site plan that's approved, they have 1 year to either begin work or to request an extension.
Okay, so he's kind of outside of that if there hasn't been any movement, right? If this was in June, 12th was when the rezoning, so the application probably went in before then. So maybe somebody should reach out and make sure that he's,
I'll definitely follow up and notice if there's a need to request an extension and notify him if that's the case.
all right, great, thank you.
Okay.
And I
For
just
me,
have some- okay, sorry.
do you have anything?
I just wanted to congratulate Emma and George on their new baby boy and their first child. Congratulations to them.
Hurry back. I'd like to ask, I did this at the Planning Commission, the city planner and the attorneys to get together, and it's been 2 years since we've had a training session. And we usually do that in January or December, whichever you guys can come up with. And if anybody wants to see what the last one looks like, it's in my book here. But I thought it was very good. I talked to one of our new members on the Planning Commission. He thought it was very good, so I'd like to, we're, all of us, and we've got new members here.
Correct.
So, anyway, that's my request there. And things coming up in the neighborhood, St. Malachy's Festival's coming up on the third weekend in August. Great time, come by. Joe will buy you a beer. So. Oh, okay.
And Joe, the entire public heard that.
Yeah, I was close to the mic for that one. All right. Dan, do you have anything to add?
No, Chair, thank you very much.
Okay.
No, sir.
All right. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Move adjourn. Okay. Nope.